So, we're back. We're back to where we left off before my mistake. Do you see what I mean? The music the victim heard in his final moments might not have been the Plume Punisher theme song. I'm afraid I'm not following you. What was it, if not the Plume Punisher theme? In his final moments, Acolyte Zeh'lot heard the Steel Samurai theme. There are no taiko drums in the intro of the Plume Punisher theme. So what Acolyte Zeh'lot actually heard in his final moments was the theme of the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo. A barcade opening up in the local mall near you? Nice. Peace, 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 I say. Mr. Wright, what is this Steel Samurai of which you speak? The Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo is an action hero show from Japanifornia. The Plume Punisher theme is a is very similar to it. If you didn't know about the Steel Samurai, you could easily mistake the two. But the fact that Acolyte Zeh'lot heard music from a Japanifornian action hero show is irrefutable evidence that the accused was in the secret hideout. Actually, no. You have it backwards. Backwards? That's right. Ms. Faye met an avid Plumed Punisher fan here in Khura'in. And as a token of their friendship, she traded a certain Steel Samurai item she had for the Plumed Punisher strap. And this avid Plumed Punisher fan was the one who killed Acolyte Zeh'lot? Yes. And that avid fan is none other than the High Priest's wife, Beh'leeb in me. Do you have evidence to back up this claim, Mr. Wright? For as forgiving as the Holy Mother is, I doubt she would tolerate yet another dose of your baseless slander. I suggest you prepare yourself to face Her Holiness's wrath. Oh, I'm prepared to turn this entire case upside down, that is. Ooh, this is my last chance. I better take a deep breath and review the evidence. Very well, then. Please present your evidence, if you would, defense. The evidence that proves Mrs. Inme was the one who killed Acolyte Zeh'lot is this. She's wearing the watch. It's right here, in this family photo. Proof that Mrs. Inme and Ms. Faye traded items featuring their favorite characters. A family photo. And what exactly should we be looking at here? Take that. Look at Mrs. Inme's left wrist. You can see the Steel Samurai's trademark top knot right here. Dots. Which clearly makes this a Steel Samurai watch. Harg! Why, I never knew your wife had such hobbies, Abbot Inme. This family photo was taken right before Acolyte Zeh'lot was murdered. By that point, my client had the Punisher strap and Mrs. Inme had the Samurai watch. So, what the victim heard in his final moments was none other than the sound of the watch Mrs. Inme was wearing. I wish to amend my testimony. What I thought were taiko drums was something else. My wife never had such a watch. It's the truth, I tell you. You must believe me, your majesty. This was funnier when he did it like once in the trial. Now he does it all the time. Be not deceived by the defense's lawyerly chicanery. Now what? He's been pretty quiet up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve? There is a big gaping hole in his flimsy claim. A big gaping hole? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm afraid it is there, all right. Just like the big gaping holes in your putrid brain. My brain is neither putrid nor full of holes. I'm not a zombie, after all. Yeah, his sutra or whatever it is that he's saying it's the same every time. Says the dead lawyer walking. He who is narrow of vision focuses on what is before him, never seeing the big picture. Or as they say in your country, you cannot see the forest for the trees. For if it is as you said, and Lady Inmi, the rebel, slew acolyte Zeh'lot, the rebel hunting Lady Kira, then the rebel hunter would have been dead before the high priest was slain. Ah, that means the high priest could not have been slain by the rebel hunting Lady Kira. Ack! How could I have missed that? So tell me, who are you going to say killed the high priest now? No! No, this we've known from the very beginning. Since early in the case when we were talking about him dying, I was like, oh, he ran into the statue like a dum-dum. Somebody put the cape over it. Do you finally understand the sheer size of holes that riddle your putrid brain? Ack! I'm in hot water now. I don't have any other suspects in the High Priest's murder. You mindless zombie, you should have begun your journey into the Twilight Realm long ago. Now let it go and move on. No, I will never give up. I just need to think things through and figure out who really killed the High Priest. Oh, we're gonna logic dive. Get ready. If Acolyte Zeh'lot had been Lady Kira, he couldn't have killed the High Priest, so the question is who did? Maybe I can get to the bottom of this by reviewing the events of this case in order. What evidence could tell me something about the crime scene before the murder? What was her testimony? Oh, about the, there being water. The water being red. Spring was stained red before the rite. Oh, right. Maya said that the spring had been stained red before the rite even began. The spring was already red before the High Priest's murder because of Zeh'lot's blood. Yeah, it's the only phrase that he knows. He's been faking the entire rest. He's like, omelette au fromage. That's right. Zeh'lot had been killed in the rebel hideout the day before the rite, and his blood had flowed into the spring. Wait a second. The High Priest knew that Zeh'lot had been killed in the hideout, so why didn't he report it to the authorities? If Maya had been the killer, he could have easily had her arrested on the spot. Why didn't the High Priest inform the authorities right then? I suppose... If he reported Zeh'lot's murder, the authorities would find out about the hideout. That's what he was worried about. But by going through with the rite, the High Priest risked having Maya see the spring running red with blood. So did he intend to... Was he going to... Was he planning to kill Maya up here? Did he intend to kill Maya, and instead he ran into the statue and killed himself? Why did he have to go through with the rite? Did he want to... I did just say this, but now I'm not sure. This might... What was he hoping to do? Kill Maya seems too stupid. He was trying to set up the scene. I don't know how. I don't know what that means. We'll figure it out. We'll logic dive. He's going to use the Wright to cover things up, but not with her murder. He wanted to set up the crime scene to conceal the hideout. But how was he planning on concealing the source of blood in the spring?
What was his plan?
We saw his last moments where Maya was in front of him and he raised the thing and started blah 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 blah, and we know that he turned around 180 degrees and then he took he lowered the thing and saw Lady Kira there and then ran towards her and died. Did he think it was Maya over there? Or did he intend to stab... I'm gonna say use his own blood. Okay, that was correct. Stain the spring with his own blood. Okay. He concealed the source of the blood with his own. That was how he kept the rebel hideout a secret. It's all starting to fall into place, Phoenix said. Phoenix really trusts me to get to the bottom of this. I know who killed the High Priest. It was... Did he freaking... He actually killed himself out of... just so that there would be a reason for there to be blood in the water? No one makes me bleed my own blood. I can't believe it. The High Priest took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret because he's really dumb. That ain't worth it. The High Priest wasn't murdered by anyone. He took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. What? 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 What's this? The High Priest committed suicide? I have never heard anything more absurd. The lawyer has placed a stain on the good priest's death with his putrid brain. Its putrid gaping holes are as large as the hole in his logic. What hole? You still fail to understand. You truly cannot see the forest for the trees. You claim the High Priest took his own life. But have you considered who brought the dagger to the Plaza of Devotion? Ah. After the High Priest was killed, the dagger was thrust into Acolyte Zeh'lot's dead body. Only the accused Maya Fey could have done that. It is as Prosecutor Sadmati says. Your claim is rather porous in its logic, and your evidence is too weak. You cannot prove that the High Priest took his own life to conceal the rebel hideout. Irk! You're right. The dagger was impaled in Zeh'lot's body, but his body had been placed at the plaza the previous day. Well, Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Zeh'lot's body was already in the plaza the day before the rite, but what if the dagger was also already in him at that time? The dagger was never at the inner sanctum. Oh yeah, Torres died by a different weapon. Of course, that's it. What is it? There was no need to move the dagger. It had already been stabbed into Acolyte's body the day before the rite, as unlikely as that is. Nobody noticed that he was just laying there with a knife sticking out of his back. What? So that means... What does that mean? It means the dagger wasn't the weapon that took the High Priest's life. But no weapon was ever found at the inner sanctum. If you will not listen to reason, then I insist you prove your assertion. Show us what you believe the real murder weapon to be. The real weapon? I've got nothing, but I know there had to have been a weapon there. Maybe if I think back on the trial thus far, I'll spot the clue I need. It's the warbaa'd statue. The defense care to tell us what the real murder weapon is. This is what really killed the High Priest.
Take that!
What really killed him has been at the inner sanctum all this time, and its lethality has already been demonstrated by the late acolyte Zeh'lot. That's right, it was the warbaa'd statue. Ulkunka! You believe that the statue has a 2-to-0 KDA ratio? Would you care to chime in, Abbot in me? No, he lies. Pay him no heed. Why, it's... Oh, what are you doing here? Lady in me. Darling, don't you think this has gone on long enough? Beh'leeb, no. Your Majesty, my wife knows nothing. Please, Abbot in me, let your wife speak. Now, Lady in me, please continue if you would. It's that time again. And what time would that be? 2:30 in the afternoon, the time my husband conducts his daily prayers, and the time Puh'ray was slain. That sound! It's the Steel Samurai alarm. I, too, like to pray at the same time as my dear husband. So I set an alarm to remind me each day, but I had no idea it would come to this. No, stop. She knows not what she speaks. Your Majesty, I am the one who slew Acolyte Zeh'lot. Khura'in! Abbot in me. Bailiff, summon a physician at once and put some clothes on her. Because he probably left her body. Maybe. The physician... Does this physician have a degree in medicine performed on people who are inhabiting another person's body? I hope so. I hope that was his major. Or his minor. Now, let us continue. Someone talk to this dead person. And what about the half of him called Maya that's still among the living? Mrs. Inme, will you tell us everything you know? The truth is, I am a rebel, just like my husband. This tragedy unfolded before the Wright, before the Feast of Blessings. I had gone to the rebel hideout to prepare it for Datz's escape. And that's when Acolyte Zeh'lot suddenly appeared? Yes. Puh'ray was shocked when he saw me there. Acolyte Zeh'lot did not know you were a rebel? I do not believe he did. I believe he was there simply to investigate the hideout. And then he suddenly came face to face with Mrs. Inme. So, the true identity of the rebel-hunting Lady Kira was Puh'ray Zeh'lot? Yes. He was a member of the secret police, serving directly under the Minister of Justice. The secret police? And this is what he said to me. I can kill rebels with impunity. The Justice Minister has my back. He was using his position within the secret police to deal us rebels a heavy blow. But murder sanctioned by the Crown is still murder. Even without the DC Act, Dirk and his insurgent scum buddies' days are numbered. What's that supposed to mean? Let's just say I got a little trick up my sleeve, so I'd watch it if I were you. 'Cause you got a defiant attitude, like one of them dragon dupes. The trick up Minister Inga's sleeve was Lady Kira. No, this cannot be. My father would never. This must be a bolt out of the blue for Rafa. My one guy will kill all the more than one rebels. This explains why Acolyte Zeh'lot abandoned his dumb name. Yes. He even went as far as covering up the tattoo with all that Khura'inist clergy He even went as far as covering up the tattoo that all Khura'inist clergy members receive. Lady Kira was a member of the secret police. That explains why no order was given to investigate her attacks. I guess I'm not alone in hearing this for the first time. But, this cannot be. Is this true? The Justice Minister is sanctioning state-sponsored murder? Peace. Now, Lady Inmei, please continue. Puh'ray suddenly lunged at me. That's when I pushed the stone slab towards him with all my might. But I never meant for what happened next to occur. Allow me to take it from here. Abbot Inmei, are you sure you're all right now? I am sorry you had to see that. But you need not worry about me. I am already dead. Please, we need to know what was so important that you would take your own life. That's a bit of a stretch. That would mean that the monarchy are the bad guys. That the monarchy have put in place this system where you are instantly declared guilty and executed along with your lawyer if you're ever suspected of doing anything. That would make them the bad guys. Ludicrous. After I learned that my wife had accidentally slain Zeh'lot, I chilled his body with snow to make it seem as if he died more recently than he did. Then I later moved it to the Plaza of Devotion and inserted the dagger into his wound. The plaza was empty at that time, for it was before prayer time had started. Finally, I placed his body in the prayer pose, knowing that no one would notice anything was wrong until the rite had concluded. It is perfectly plausible that no one would disturb him if he seemed to be praying with a dagger sticking out of his neck. We do treasure our prayer time, after all. From my point of view, it's the Jedis who are evil. So you admit you tried to pin this crime on Maya Fey? Yes, this was all my doing. I never told my wife of my plan, for surely she would have tried to stop me. How did you get Ms. Fey's fingerprints on the dagger? I had her hold it while we were rehearsing the rite the day before, and right before the rite I drugged her with a sleeping agent. Then I put Lady Kira's robes over the warbaa'd statue. That means Maya was probably already groggy by the time the rite started. Finally, I ended my own life to ensure that the crime would appear to have been by Acolyte Fey's own hand. But when your body was discovered, Lady Kira's robes were on the ground. How did they end up there if they were on the statue? After I impaled myself on one of the statue's dagger-like feathers, I used the last ounce of my strength to hurl my body backwards. As I did, I grabbed onto the robes, taking them with me as I fell back onto the ground. How terrible! What possessed you to do such a thing? You needn't have committed suicide simply to frame the accused. Prosecutor Sadmati, as one well-versed in our kingdom's legal system, I would expect you of all people to understand. The shrine is a serious hazard. Yeah, put up a railing or something. Or at least a sign. Danger, warbaa'd. Understand what? This kingdom's legal system. Mrs. Inmei's crime, your suicide. It can't be. That would be sadder than sad. Happy game. Why, I believe the defense knows of what the High Priest speaks. Yes, I finally understand. Oh no! Oh no. I found it pretty inexplicable, actually. What is the real reason? Or is it this? Okay, I guess it's this. It's the only piece of evidence we haven't used yet.
Take that!
The Defense Culpability Act. Circumstantial evidence supports Mrs. Enmy's killing of... Circumstantial evidence supports Mrs. Enmy's killing of Acolyte Zeh'lot in self-defense. However, it would be next to impossible to prove it without a lawyer. That's why the High Priest wanted to pin the crime on Maya Fey. I fail to see what that has to do with his suicide. In Khura'in, the divination seance is the most important piece of trial evidence. The High Priest wanted to frame Ms. Fey as a serial killer. It was a clever plan in which he made sure he'd see Lady Kira in his final moments. The lawyer speaks true. Yeah, of course. That would be funny. I present something else. And the judge is like, there is no reason for this trial to continue. It is extremely clear that Maya Fey is the guilty one. And then the doors slam shut. The lawyer speaks true. That is why I placed Lady Kira's robes upon the warbaa'd statue. I made it seem that Acolyte Fey was the rebel hunting Lady Kira. But... are you saying you used my divination seance to produce false evidence? Forgive me, your benevolence, but it was the only way to help my lovely wife. If you had approached me first, I could have proved that the murder was in self-defense. Perhaps, but I had little faith in lawyers, despite being a rebel. How utterly foolish to cast away one's life for such a reason. There must have been other ways to cover up the crime. I agree. Yet had I done so, my wife would rush to my defense, and when the case went to trial, she would suffer the same fate as I, under the Defense Culpability Act. I could not have lived with myself had she been convicted because of that fiendish man. This cannot be. All I have done under the laws of our kingdom, it has all been... Poor Rafa. She's really taking this hard. But I can't say I'm surprised. Alright, so this is it. We just, everybody storm the castle. And go, hey, royalty, you guys are the bad guys. Throw them off a cliff. And we're done. Roll the credits. Mr. Phoenix Wright, it is time to show the might of your legal prowess. We need you to write a manga explaining the whole case. You mustn't allow another innocent soul to be charged under that despicable law. Of course. I'll do whatever I can. It would be polite if you can put the clothes back on before you disembody. What I have done to you and Acolyte Fey is unforgivable. I can only offer my most humble of apologies. Your Majesty. Yes? I ask that you please look after my wife. Your wife, the murderer? The convicted murderer now? You have my word. Your benevolence. It is time that I return to the Twilight Realm. The Magatama of Parting, if you please. Very well. Your benevolence. Please, allow me the honor. Yes. It would be more fitting for you to send him on his way. Mrs. Enmy. Darling, I'm so glad I was able to see you one last time. Thank you for everything. Oh, good. I'm sorry to leave you like this, my love. But now you can watch over me from the world beyond. Yes, always and forever. And with every breath I take, my darling, I'll be thinking of you. Oh, we missed out on the Dr. Manhattan junk shot. Farewell, my darling Tarust. The High Priest has returned to the Twilight Realm. Maya! I feel great. I guess that means he didn't leave any regrets behind. Oh! But what about the trial, Nick? It's over. It was a sad reality born of love and a great tragedy born of the Defense Culpability Act. Yeah, would have been a different game if he hadn't put that on first. Well, I see no need to continue this trial. Does the prosecution have anything to say? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I owe a debt to you, one that I will pay back in court someday. Now, to deliver today's verdict and overturn that of yesterday's trial, with respect to all current and previous charges against them, I hereby declare the accused, Maya Fey, and her defense, Phoenix Wright, and also retroactively the last 23 years of people who have been convicted under bullshit court. No? We're not gonna do that? I guess we're not gonna do that. Guilty! Fooled you! Haha! High court at 420, you don't say. Haha. Stupid. So, I was thinking, Nick, the legal system here is really stacked against the defense. I'm not sure what Maya's talking about. She kinda lost me. It's totally unfair. Yeah, it even forced the High Priest to make the ultimate sacrifice just to protect his wife. It's just so sad. Protect the status quo or join the revolution. If the real Lady Kira were here, I wonder which side she would take. Your benevolence. Huh? What? I was just wondering, are you alright? Quiet, you! How could I possibly be alright? Just look at all of these dots! Yeah, she's not doing well at all. Who do you think you are, suddenly appearing before me, trampling my insights underfoot, and plunging the Hall of Justice into utter chaos? You even desecrated my mother's and father's teachings, you soulless infidel! Oof, that was a bit more extreme than usual. What am I to do? I had always believed that communing with a victim's mitma would lead me to the absolute truth. But each time you overturned my insights, it was revealed that they served to support false charges rather than the truth. I am left now with that heavy truth in my heart. I'm sorry, Rafa. Perhaps I am not worthy of hearing the voices of the mitma. Oh, the Weird Al song. I'm like, I recognize the lyrics, but I can't think of a song in my head to go with them. But it's the Weird Al song. That's where you're wrong, your benevolence. What? Maya? How dare you? Your role is to bring forth the voices of the mitma into our world. If you don't do it, who will? You know nothing, Maya Fey. It was spirit channeling, not a divination seance that brought the truth to light. How dare an outsider like you employ the Queen's secret art? But what can I do? My spiritual power does not even approach yours. Ha ha ha! Is it not a cruel joke? The royal priestess, bested by a lowly outsider. Don't be so hard on yourself. Why not? It is worth at least a laugh or two. You shouldn't talk like that. Huh? Listen, your benevolence. You were just fulfilling your duty, weren't you? And you're the only one capable of performing the divination seance, right? The station of royal priestess is not something to abandon lightly. The station of royal priestess? The people of your kingdom believe in you. But if you really mean all that you just said, then what are they supposed to believe in? You know not of what you speak. Japanese rival culture is weird. Now they're married. Actually, I kinda do. After all, I'm only here training so I can become the master of my village back home. A village master, you say? I did not know. It seems I owe you an apology. For even today, I called you a neophyte practitioner. It's all right, your benevolence. Thank you for finally acknowledging me. A future queen and a future village master? I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, considering they may have had a common ancestor. They're blood related, so they're definitely getting married. Maya's right, your benevolence. Barbed head? Your insights were a crucial piece of evidence in this last trial. It doesn't matter if they weren't always 100% accurate. You should be proud of what you did. You've played an important role in assuring that justice was served. And besides, your insights aren't the problem here. It's your kingdom's legal system. Without lawyers, your insights have come to be accepted as the sole truth, and the Defense Culpability Act, which gave rise to that, is the root of it all. But that is the dangerous thinking of a rebel. Your benevolence. As Crown Princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy, and what is true and what is false, and most importantly, what role you must play therein. I wonder if I am even up to the task. Knowing you, your benevolence, you're more than capable. I've never heard Maya talk like this before. She's really come a long way. Uh-oh. Sounds like another murder. and then we high-five and freeze frame. It came from the hallway. Smoke! We'd better go check it out. Hurry! Mrs. Inme. Mr. Wright. Accolade Faye. I'm so sorry for what transpired. You were almost sentenced to death because of me. I will make amends by picking up where my husband left off. I will see the revolution through, so nothing like this can ever happen again. Okay. For that is the depth of my love for my dearly departed husband. Lady Inme, we gotta hurry. That voice, is that Mr. Arable? I must tell the people. They must learn that the peace we enjoy is a false one built on the backs of innocents charged with false crimes under that odious DC Act. We have it in our power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. Hey there, PW. I wish we had more time to talk, but... Dirk, everything's ready. It's go time. Dirk? Wait, was that the rebel leader Dirk? After him, don't let him get away. She has to eventually testify against her evil, corrupt parents, like so many other stories. Yeah. Haven't you ever heard of a redemption arc? The power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. It's the start of a legal revolution. Hey, Nick. Hate to bother you while you're lost in thought, but I just got this great idea. What is it? The Steel Samurai versus the Rebel Dirk. I bet it'd make for another awesome TV show. And if we threw the Plume Punisher in there, everyone would go nuts over it. I'll never get what she sees in those shows. But it's good to know that no matter what happens, Maya will always be Maya. End. She doesn't make the shows, but she I guess writes terrible episodes and mails them in. Turnabout, Storyteller. Are we going back to Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology book?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What time is it? It's 9, 10, 11.
Shisho's dead. No. Do you think he did it? Oh no. If he did, then what do we do? Hey, pull yourself together. Don't worry. I have an idea. Do you think he did it? He died of diabetes from eating way too many carbs. Alright, so we'll pick up right here next time at the start of episode 4, Turnabout Storyteller. Also, why can't I remember the name of the play? What are you doing here? You're not gonna be the lawyer. We got so many other good lawyers. You're only supposed to be the lawyer when both of the other main lawyers are unavailable. What's going on here? So the plan is Saturday, we'll start chapter 4. Oh yeah, Apollo got an email, I guess, probably. Somebody said, oh, your dad's alive, and he left, so what's her name will get to take over. Needs to explore his third backstory, yeah. We've already done the whole thing with him finding out... Did he find out who his mother was? Did he find out, or did only the player found out that what's her name was his mother? And then his second backstory that was all about him wanting to go to space, and now we get a whole third backstory about how he used to live in not Japanifornia, and was probably... Is that what it's going to be? Is he going to be... Are we going to go... Oh, actually, Apollo had to flee the country because he was wanted for the murder of whatever, and his father, Dirk, took the blame, and now we're going to go back, and we're going to prove that it wasn't Dirk, and in the process, we're going to almost prove that it was Apollo, and oh no, Apollo's going to go to jail for a crime that he committed when he was a baby, but then we turn it around and say, no, it wasn't any of them, it was the evil king and queen. I guess. Alright, that's it for tonight. More of this on... So I want to say Saturday, but I also have a birthday party to go to on Saturday. So I might start the stream at like 7, like an hour late. 7 instead of 6. Yeah, spoilers. I just spilled the entire guts of the final case. Also, I don't know if this is the final case. There might be a case 5. I don't know. Thank you, Blind. Been fun. So like I said, shorter stream than normal probably on Saturday. I'll probably be about an hour late. And then Sunday... Hey, thank you. And naturally the bot doesn't know what to do. It didn't put the thing on screen because it never does, because why didn't you? Why didn't it work? Like, memes aside, I'm so mad at the bot. It's supposed to do something when you cheer. I do so have a bot. It's running right now. Last time it happened, it was because it was mysteriously disconnected from the chat. And the time before that, it was that I forgot to tell it that cheers can be capitalized. What is it now? What is your reasoning, bot? Speak. What the actual hell is wrong with the bot? It's done it before. It's popped up before. I don't understand. Did I comment it out by mistake? I don't know. I can't tell right now. Nobody's... No, they did. I'll clip it. There was the Streamlabs thing, but that's not... Aside from the Streamlabs thing, a Danganronpa character is supposed to show up under me and thank the person who it's for I'm... Just once, bot, would you please thank Faded Oasis? Could you ever please work? Alright, well, I'm leaving.